Hello and welcome here on LATOKEN Venture Capital TV. My name is Javier Borja, and like every session, we bring you the innovation, technology, and solutions you want to hear about. During all our sessions, you get it to hear directly from the CEOs or the relevant persons in the project. Today, I'm very glad to present Xaya, and we have here the co-founder of the project, Andrew Colosimo. Andy, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Fantastic. Great to have you here. I heard a lot and I read a lot about the project, so very excited. And I would like, just before we jump on the interview, I would like to remind our viewers that you can see our previous shows and content by visiting latoken.com/VCTV/shows. Also follow us on socials like Facebook and Twitter. And if you're watching us on YouTube, hit the subscribe button because you'll always be informed of great content, opportunities, and even giveaways. And one more important thing to our viewers, please remember that anything mentioned here is not any type of financial advice. Do your research before making a decision. It's your choices and your responsibility. With that said, Andy, I think we're ready to start this interview. And best of all, we are able to receive questions from our community, from our viewers. Please leave us your comments or any questions you might have. We will address them here. So, Andy, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and the team?
Yeah, certainly. So, first of all, thanks for having me. So, our core team is based mostly in Europe, and I myself in a city called Preston, which is in the northwest of England, not far from Manchester. I'd call myself a technologist, and I've been working in IT for the majority of my life. I've worked in networking and hardware for British Telecom, and also ran my own IT services company as well. Our tech lead is based in Switzerland. He's previously worked at Google. We have people in Lithuania, somebody else in the UK, Canada. So we are basically scattered all over the place, really. So in like a sort of decentralized fashion, if you will.
Okay. And I think it works the best.
Yeah, definitely.
You get all the advantages.
Yeah, we can all
No,
work from
start.
home.
Yeah, I know. It's wonderful, isn't it? No, you don't have to commute to anything like that.
Yeah.
But now, talking concretely about Xaya, what is the problem you foresaw and motivated you and your co-founders to start this project?
Yeah, so I think going back to the year 2000, well, since then I've been heavily into MMORPGs, and the first MMO I played was EverQuest, and I spent a majority of that time like farming these rare items and rare assets or
Mhm.
virtual items, and I used to basically just sell them for money, and I made quite a lot of money at the time, but just buying and selling these virtual assets
Okay.
and I did that with like multiple MMORPGs from then as well. But one of the issues which I always come across was, you don't know how many of these assets are in circulation. There's like an unknown supply. You don't know if the developers are, giving these really rare assets which are worth thousands of dollars and which are ultra rare to their friends. So basically, like diluting. The value of your own assets. People were duping the currencies, um, and yeah, and you spend like many hours in these games, and all that
Right.
time is just wasted. So you couldn't really sell them like I did, uh, as being part of the game, because really it was like against the rules, and if you get caught doing that, your account would be banned. So, at the time, people always used to say to me, they say, why would somebody pay for these virtual assets or like a sword what doesn't exist? And
Yeah.
so when I heard about Bitcoin in 2011, I sort of realized and knew that people will buy something that doesn't exist, even if it's virtual. It's not a physical item. So in 2011, I started mining Bitcoin, mined maybe like a thousand Bitcoin or something like that, and I managed to sell them at the all-time high, which was about $30 at the time, unfortunately.
Now,
Yeah, so
I hope you kept some of that Bitcoin.
yeah, well, I kept a little bit, that kept me going. Um, So yeah, but also in 2011, I found out about another project called Namecoin, which was like the first altcoin, which is a project we also develop as well. And the thing with Namecoin is it could be used for decentral. Sort of its purpose was for decentralized domain names, you could say. So you could have a domain name like you have, Google.com, but you could have one that is stored as like an NFT, if you will, on Namecoin, and that cannot be taken from that user, like the bitcoins can't be taken from a user. And with this name, you could set in the, say, the IP address of the hosting account, so these domain names couldn't be taken from you. They couldn't be censored or anything like that. And this sort of like fascinated me and made me realize that blockchain doesn't just have to be about cryptocurrencies and finance. It can be used for other purposes as well. So yeah, so we supported that project for a while, and then in 2013, I came up with this concept of using this technology to build a fully decentralized game. And at the time, I wanted to build a full MMORPG, but to start with, we built a project called HunterCoin, and in HunterCoin, it was a blockchain just like Bitcoin or Namecoin,
Hmm.
except inside this chain was like this fully living, breathing, decentralized world. So it was like quite simple graphics, just a 2D map. But what people could do is they would do a special transaction which would create them a hunter inside the game, we called them, and then they could move around the map, collect coins, steal coins from somebody else, and then take them to the bank inside the game, and then they would appear in your wallet just like as if you'd mined them with hardware. So it was like a true play to earn like gaming experience, and people were making tens of thousands of dollars a day, and it was only made as an experiment as well as a precursor to a fully blown MMORPG, more of a test, if you will. And yeah, so like this game or this mini universe, was all like completely provably fair, autonomous, um, censorship resistant, trustless, permissionless, and like a real like alternate reality or universe that just couldn't be shut down, or like a universe without a god, if you will, or something like that. Um, and yeah, so then from then on, we learnt all the teething problems and scalability issues and stuff like that, and we came up with some solutions. Like one of those was written by our tech lead Daniel Kraft, which is called Game Channels, and this paper was being peer reviewed, and this allows for complex, decentralized, real-time, trustless games. So, whilst also preventing like the blockchain from being bloated. And from then on in 2017, we came up with Xaya itself, which is a blockchain um, for developers to build their own decentralized games, like
Hmm.
using our technology. And yeah, so that's basically how we got here, and yeah, where we are.
Okay, that's been quite a journey.
Yeah, yeah, it has. Yeah,
I'm sure you're going to have more projects coming on, but you're going to
yeah,
tell us a little bit about that, and I think that's my next question about your roadmap. Where
yeah,
do you think the project is going to be in the next 3 years?
yeah. So we've now built all this like underlying infrastructure um, for for the blockchain, and also for like the SDK for people to build their own games and all those sort of things. But what we're working on now, and what we actually have been doing for the last couple of years, is we're building two complex decentralized games. And the first one of those is called Soccer Manager Elite, and I'll be able to show you a bit of a demo of that now.
Yeah, please.
Um,
When you say a complex game, what do you mean with that?
Yeah, so with the current generation of blockchain games, I think what people have noticed is they are very, very simple, or they're very trivial, and um, or there's one of the two. They're either very simple and trivial if they are decentralized. You have things like crypto kitties, or um, you know, some other projects where there is virtually no gameplay. It's more about just buying the tokens and then staking them and generating more.
Mm,
Whereas a game like an MMORPG or like World of Warcraft sort of thing is probably like another way of saying a complex game, or a racing game, or you know Civilization and things like that. That those sort of games are complex, whereas at the moment they are just very simple. Now there are like some projects out there just using the blockchain to store like assets on the blockchain and NFTs, and they can be
Yeah.
complex centralized games. And yeah, those ones are quite few and far between at the moment.
So I think I'm not going a little bit off topic here,
That's right.
but I think it'd be interesting for our viewers. Why do you think in the decentralized gaming sector there's no major complex games like you would expect, like
Yeah,
Minecraft?
so yeah, no, that's yeah, a good question. So for, I mean, I think it's also good to point out there what we mean by decentralized as well. So a lot of projects will say they are decentralized games, but
Hmm.
really the game and the gameplay isn't decentralized. The only thing what's decentralized is they store assets on the blockchain, whereas the
Hmm.
difference with what we are doing is the actual game logic is decentralized. So that means, the game itself cannot be shut down. So for example, if you have a centralized game and the assets are stored on the blockchain and that company goes bust, or the servers go down, or the developers just disappear, then all those assets are worth nothing. So essentially it's like you own the key to a Lamborghini, but then the Lamborghini's gone away the game and you just left with the key, which is actually useless. Your asset has no utility in the game world.
Hmm.
Whereas what we are focused on is games that run like Bitcoin and cannot be shut down, and there can be no cheating. They are provably fair, and all those advantages what blockchain brings basically.
Hmm. Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, so I'll show you my screen.
There we go.
Yeah. Okay. So this first game what we have been developing is called Soccer Manager Elite. So a lot of people might not know what a football management game is. Maybe most people in South America and in Europe will do. But essentially, in a football management game or a soccer management game, you take the place of a manager, and you can set things like you choose a team, and then you can set like the team's tactics and the strategies they will use, and buy and sell players and make your team better, so you can win the league or something like that. Be the best, or maybe you choose a really bad team and start at the bottom and then build your way to the top, or maybe you just choose a team that you support, which might already be the top. Um, but the difference with this game is it's actually like an MMO type game. So there's multiple players can play the game at once. And however, there are only 300 clubs to choose from for people to be a manager. So that means you could say, well, that's not very, massive if there can only be 300 clubs. But I'll explain that in a moment. So in this like game world, the football matches are are played like autonomously on the blockchain, if you will, twice a week. And if I just click on one of these clubs, I'll just show you. So we'll click this one. So um, yeah, so this is like this club which is uh, run by a player called Crypto Knight, and this is this player's squad with all their players, their health, and if they're happy and all that sort of stuff. Um, but as I was mentioning before, each of these there's only 300 of these clubs, so that can only be 300 managers. However, if you have these coins in this game called Soccer Manager coins, you can actually buy shares in the clubs. And if you're a shareholder in the club, like this club, this is in just beta at the moment, or just beta. Um, if you're a shareholder in the club, you can actually vote in who you want to be the manager of the club. So essentially, each one of these clubs is what people call decentralized autonomous organization. So when you vote in the manager of the club, he then has the he's supposed to do good for the club. You know, he's make your club win all the time, save them money, and all those sort of things, or make money. And if you're a shareholder of the club, you get paid dividends out each time one of these games are played. So if your manager's doing really well, then you're going to be getting paid extra of these coins, which you can then sell and cash out in a play to earn sort of gaming experience. If the manager is doing very bad, then he can the shareholders can sack him and replace him.
Andy, one question there.
Yeah, go on.
So there is an actual match that will be played. Like, I mean,
Yeah. It's not in real life. It's actually on the blockchain and computed in a like deterministic, provably fair way based on what tactics the managers change. You know, for their club. So they might choose different formations. They might play different people on the pitch. They might have situations created. So if somebody's injured, somebody else is replaced, and all those sort of things. So it's played, yeah, like at 3 p.m. on a Saturday. All the nodes on the network, whichever, whoever wants to take part in this game, will compute the results of these match in a provably fair, deterministic way.
also, it's an actually kind of an algorithm that will start running,
Yeah, exactly,
so
exactly
that
like that. Yeah.
people don't think that it's going to be like an actual game where you can actually see the characters. It's more like
Yeah,
a
yeah. Just the result is displayed. However, we will be implementing a like a 3D match viewer as well at a later time. Whereas for now, yeah, just the results are displayed. So, for example, um, on Wednesday, this is the results of all the matches that happened in the first league. So, you know, you could click on, for example, this one. This is still in development, but um, you can see that the formations and things that each opposing team had, who was the manager of those clubs at the time. Um, yeah, and there's different match information what went in there. You know, somebody got a yellow card, somebody scored. So yeah, it's quite detailed, but like even for a normal centralized game, this is quite complex. However, this is again all provably fair, censorship resistant, trustless, permissionless. Um, yeah, and as all those properties of what Bitcoin and Ethereum have themselves, except in a complex um, game world. So yeah, um, and as well as each of these clubs being like a decentralized autonomous organization, every one of the actual players in the game is also one of these as well. So you can buy shares in players, and each of these players can then have a lot of shareholders, and they can vote who they want to be the agent for the player. So then the agent who gets a small wage, he can then talk to the manager of the club and ask him why he's not being played, or tell the
mhm.
manager he wants to go to another club, because the shareholders of a player also get payouts based on if the manager plays them, they get like a commission of the player's wage, and also if the player scores and some other events as well, that the shareholders get paid. So it's the shareholders' job to vote in the agent who can then communicate with the manager, because otherwise there could be millions of shareholders of this player, and the manager doesn't want to listen to advice from millions of different people. He just wants to listen to the spokesperson who's been voted in by those shareholders.
Yeah. And how many clubs do you have there that people can choose from to
Yeah,
join?
so there's just 300 in this one. So there's can only
Wow.
be 300 managers. Yeah, so that's why it's called Soccer Manager Elite.
Hmm.
However, there can be millions and millions of shareholders, so the game can support millions of people. And of course, in the future, we have plans as well to allow people to have friendly matches with wagering and things like that, all in a decentralized, secure way as well.
So if one of our viewers, traders, would like to join this game, what do they have to do? They simply go to the website and start applying.
Yeah, you can apply for beta now on the website, so you can go to soccermanagerelite.com, and on there is a place where you can register for the beta. We do have this client isn't yet uh, uh, isn't playable in here at the moment.
Mhm.
But there is a client you can download which is based in Unity. However, that is getting depreciated, and we will be using this client in the future, where people can actually play using MetaMask, and it will run on an Ethereum-based blockchain as well. And we will be running a token sale as well. I thought I'd just put that one through while we're here as well in the near future as well. Yeah, so the game is quite complex. We have you know like the 300 clubs all have like their own market cap. So it's a little bit like coin market cap, where every one of the
Mm-hmm.
clubs has a price, and also for the players as well, of which there are like over 10,000 players. And another thing as well, the managers of the clubs can trade players like between clubs as well.
Okay.
So yeah, so that's Soccer Manager uh, Elite, and like I say, we developed this game before um, most of the blockchain gaming projects came out, and it has been designed from the ground up to be play to earn before people started coining that word. So it is um, yeah, something that we're really proud of. And it's also worth noting this game is based on a game called Soccer Manager Worlds, and we've been working on this game in partnership with a company called Soccer Manager Limited, which has uh, tens of millions of downloads of their Soccer Manager games, and this is based on one of their successful titles as well, without all the shares stuff which we've just added basically for to fit more with blockchain and real money playing games.
Mm-hmm. And that you mentioned that about the payouts, and that leads me to my next question.
Yeah,
So if there's payout, you must have your own token, right? What native token. So how does
yeah,
that token get involved in the whole project and in the ecosystem?
yeah. So. Um, Yeah, so in this game itself, it has its own token, which is called at the moment Soccer Manager coins. So they can be or will be purchasable on like all the decentralized exchanges and centralized exchanges as well. And with those coins, you can then buy shares in clubs. And then once you have the shares in the clubs, you can buy and sell those shares, or you can place votes or whatever you want to do, just hodl them. And yeah, and then you could sell them on a decentralized exchange. So you could sell them for USDT or Bitcoin or wrap Bitcoin or Ethereum and things like that. So that's how people can get cash in and out of the project.
Mm-hmm.
So Xaya as well also has its own coin, which is called Chi, on its own native blockchain, and called Wrap Chi in the Ethereum ecosystem. And that is also used for things like registering accounts, which can be used across all Xaya games. And for in some of our other games as well, it can be used for creating um, units in one of our other games, Taurion, which I can show you in a second as well after this, or I can show you a video demo of that one. Not really a video, but some screenshots. And yeah, can be used in some other ways as well, which we've not fully disclosed yet.
Okay. Okay. Understood. Very good. To our viewers, I would like to remind you that if you want to know more about this project, you would like to participate, invest, please visit xaya.io, xaya.io, so you can have all the relevant information. Please educate yourself. And shall you wish to get in contact with the team or the community, please, you can write them an email to info@xaya.io, as you can see below on our screen. Thank you very much. Yeah, so let's continue.
Oh,
This is, yeah, please go ahead, Andy.
oh no, no. If you're going to ask something about this one, then
No,
yeah.
please go ahead. It's okay.
All right, okay. Yeah. So this is the first game, because you mentioned about our roadmap. So this is something that we're focusing on, almost 100% this year.
Okay.
But we do have another game as well, which unfortunately I'll just have to show you some clips of a video I made last year or a couple of years ago. Um,
Taurion.
Taurion, yeah. So Taurion is a we'd like to say it's the most complex decentralized game ever made, but also Soccer Manager is very complex as well. But this game, you could say, is a mixture between a few games which some people might have heard of. So one of them is Eve Online. So it has all the like similar player-driven economy as Eve Online, where people can go and mine, get different sorts of minerals, and then take them to a refinery and refine them, and then take them to a crafting facility and build vehicles and things like that, or build whatever. So all the economy is all player driven. And it's also, you could say, a mixture between Civilization, where it's quite a slow strategy game, and also a mixture between RTS games like Command and Conquer, where you can select your units and move them across the map and things like that. So, in this world, which is again all fully decentralized and autonomous, you create you'd start the game, you create units which are like little vehicles, and then you might do some quests or do some mining and refine or whatever, and then sell those on the marketplaces inside the game. And yeah, this has got this play to earn gaming experience as well, where you're actually, it's something that we termed human mining with our first project, Huntercoin, where people are actually playing to earn cryptocurrency, but in a fair, transparent way, which can't be shut down. So you can build up your currency in the game, and you could just sell that, or you could buy better vehicles, so then you can mine in more dangerous places, or you could go on PvP and kill other players and build buildings and things like that. Um, and like each of the buildings are like NFTs. And something I should have mentioned before, actually, in Soccer Manager Elite, the 300 clubs are like NFTs, except fractionalized, and the same for the 10,000 soccer players in the game.
Mhm.
Well, in this game, the buildings and the vehicles and every asset in the game, which is has to have been made by a player, and all the minerals that made it up have been mined. Um, or like NFTs. So if you build a building as well in this game, and you own this building, you've got to be careful because other players may blow it up, but also because in each of those buildings, they each have their own decentralized exchange, their own decks. So when other players use your building to buy and sell stuff on the marketplace in that building, then the owner of the building actually generates income because they take a commission on the sales, and they
Mhm.
can actually set the price of these of what the commission is. Um, and yeah, the minerals in the game are all scattered across this giant map, which is as big as Belgium at the moment. So it's like very, very large to scale. And yeah, so the resources could be like there might be a rare resource at one side of the map, and it's very common in another place on the map, and this creates this supply and demand opportunities for traders to build giant transport vehicles to be able to um, uh, like see opportunities where the price of an asset is a lot cheaper in one place but more expensive in a yeah, like cheap in one place but more expensive in another. So they could just fill up their um, large like transport vehicle with the at the cheap place and then sell them at the most expensive place. But then also like pirates and bandits, other players may try and rob you on the way. The game goes much more complex than what I've described there, but yeah, like that one's like a transport vehicle there. This user interface is all placeholder graphics as well while we're still developing. But going back to the original question, this is something that we've actually had on hold for around 6 months now, while we've been focusing on more on Soccer Manager Elite. But this year, the middle of the year, we will be continuing development on this, and this should be hopefully completed early next year.
Okay, so
So we'll see.
this one, Taurion, is not out yet. It's not
No,
available.
it's not out yet. No, no, there
Okay.
is all the code is actually open source and on GitHub for all the the back end sort of part of the game. But what we need to work on is basically all the user interface and the front end, and that's where all the work needs to be done. We've just not had the resources to focus on it at the moment because we've been concentrating on Soccer Manager Elite.
Okay, so once that is well, Soccer Management Elite is up and running already, right? So
Yeah, yeah, in a beta sort of form.
because in the website that I'm reviewing, okay, you have Taurion, you have Soccer Manager Elite, you have
Yeah,
Isles of War, and you have Xaya ships.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, so I'll just come back to here now.
Are those two other
So
coming soon?
yeah, yeah. So Isle of War has been made by a third party, not anything to
Mhm.
do with us. They're like just another developer who's been building on our tech.
Mhm.
They built that one as a bit of an MVP. They've also built like a casino slot machine game now. It works in a decentralized way, which is pretty good. And Xaya Ships is a tech demo we created, which is using this game channel technology, which allows for this real-time trustless gameplay. So it's more of a tech demo than an actual um,
Game.
game and product. Yeah, it's just to demonstrate our technology.
Okay. And going back to the ones that you have developed or you are developing, Taurion and Soccer Manage Elite, which one do you think it will be most popular?
It's a good question. Yeah, it's a hard one. Possibly the Soccer Manager Elite, only because it's going to be playable in a browser, so it's accessible to a lot more people. It will work on mobile devices and tablets. So yeah, it could be that that one is the more popular. And Taurion is just going to be probably mainly focused at um, yeah, gamers on the PCs. However, we do want to add some extra layers on top of Taurion where you can play the game in a browser but in a limited way. So you can just be
Uh-huh.
like a managerial type person where you can craft in buildings and use the decentralized marketplaces in every one of the buildings, but don't actually take part in any of the combat and things like that, which we've done in the Unreal Engine.
Okay. And just another question. This is like a personal question from my side, just to educate myself a little bit. When you develop these games, do you focus on certain target audiences of gamers?
Yeah, well, we have done, although um, with with Soccer Manager Elite, yeah, that one is based on a lot of research from our partners. That's the sort of the the sort of games that these people that are into soccer management games, which is a bit of a niche, are into. So we know that there is an audience for
Exactly.
that.
It's
Um,
it's a little bit
ha,
like
ha,
you said at the beginning. So I think in Latin America and in Europe,
yeah,
those are the
yeah,
markets.
that's true. Yeah. However, it is targeted to multiple audiences there because the people in the crypto space, they are taking part in all these blockchain games now that have probably never even played a game before as well.
Mhm.
So, the shares aspect of it is probably more focused on, um, uh, yeah, traders and things like that, and maybe football fans as well. And when we add in the component, so anybody can play the game as a manager and do friendlies and things, then that will be targeted at more like the casual audience of the like soccer manager user base. Because on its first release, with there only being 300 clubs, not everybody can be a manager. So people that are into these football management games won't have the opportunity to be a manager unless they own a lot of shares in clubs or something like that. And Torion, yeah, it's difficult to say what sort of audience it is, but we've gathered that the type of people that will play this game will be more the older generation than the younger ones, because the type of gameplay is slow. It's about real money, so it's yeah, it's probably not your typical gamer that would play it, but probably people that are into MMORPGs and strategy games like Civilization and things like that.
All right, that's really interesting. That's a good insight. Uh, Now, okay, we know now more about your project of Saya, which is your future plans, how the token works, but also there's another games out there getting into the metaverse, always developing in a decentralized way. Can you please explain us what makes your project different from other blockchain gaming projects at the moment that we have in the market?
Um, yeah, so yeah, as I mentioned before, yeah, sort of answered that a little bit before. Our focus is on these fully decentralized games, so which are
Mhm.
complex and as fun as um, as like current mainstream games. So like most of the games on the market the blockchain space are I don't know, it's maybe unfair to say, but are limited. They're not actual games what people would generally play. So yeah, I mean I've said this a few times, but it's um, our games are focused on like what makes Bitcoin great. So it's censorship resistant, provably fair, permissionless, autonomous, trustless, and transparent, if you will. So that's something that we've focused on, and um, we've built an SDK which allows other people to build these games and real time games on our platform, of which there isn't any SDK out there at the moment for people to be able to do that, and we think that that is important because it's yeah when yeah the best way to put it is blockchain games are about making money. Um, and when money is involved, then these things like being trustless and decentralized become much more important. So if you have a game where your assets are worth, say, $1 million or something like that, or maybe even $1,000, depending on who you are and your background, um, it's going to get to a point where you don't want to put trust in the game developer to just disappear or someone to hack
Hmm.
the server or the server to go down. So when a game is about money, the more money that you have in the game, then the security becomes much more important. A bit like if some random person created Bitcoin, but it wasn't decentralized, and he just started saying, "Look, I'm going to give out all these coins fairly, and you'll just have to trust me." Um, if somebody did that, Bitcoin, and that was how Bitcoin was started, then Bitcoin wouldn't be what it is today. It does have that value because it follows all these properties and the ethos of what it's set of being decentralized.
Okay, thank you.
If that makes sense.
It does. It does. It does make a lot of sense. Thank you for that information.
Yeah.
Andy, we have time just for one question from the audience. I'll just
All right.
pop it up here. What is the total supply of Xaya coin?
All right. Yeah. So yeah, the total supply of Xaya coin once they've all been mined, because it's a proof of work coin, is around 77 million, and the circulating supply at the moment is about 55 million.
There you go. Thank you very much for that
Yeah.
information. That, as a reminder to our viewers, then please, if you want to know more information about this interesting project, visit xaya.io. You have all the relevant information there. And if you want to get in contact with the project, please write them an email to info@xaya.io, as you can see in the below banners. And Andy, thank you very much for your
Thank,
time.
thank
It's
you very
been
much.
really informative, amazing. I learned a lot as well. I wasn't aware of a couple of things. So
Good.
again, thank you very much. We do wish your project all the very best. I'm confident it's going to be a very major success, and we're very curious also to see when you're going to finish with Taurion. So maybe you can come on the next time and give us a demo.
Yeah. Brilliant. Excellent. Right. Thank you very much for having me.
Uh, we're still receiving more questions. Would
Oh,
you like to get the last
yeah.
one?
Sure.
Okay, that's the last one. What is the vision for which blockchain Taurion will run on? Saya or Poly or others?
At the moment, it will run on Xaya Core, but we're open to putting that on another blockchain as well. We're still considering that.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Andy, we won't take much of your time anymore. You're
Oh,
super busy, you and your team. So
it's
once
fine.
again, very much appreciate you being here. Hope to see you again with the new game development you're gonna have. And to our viewers, thank you very much for watching and stay safe.
Thank you very much.